Welcome to Transfer Deadline Day. We're here outside the La Liga headquarters and you're watching The Sporty Show.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to the Sporty Show. It is deadline day, so there is so much going on. I am Sara, and as always, I'm joined with Klinton Cod.
The one
looking
and only,
different.
the one and only Klinton Cod. Why? What do you mean? It's look? Oh yeah. Oh, you mean? I was like, what do you mean looking different? Come on, man. I've not even done my haircut. There's no way I would look different. But I guess it's our sitting position today. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's another beautiful day the Lord has made. And we shall be glad. And unfortunately, we don't have the tall Alex right here with us. But he's here somewhere with us spiritually. And where is he again?
Alex Ashmore is down at the La Liga headquarters, keeping us up to date. Alex, can you hear me? Are you with us?
I can, I'm with you very well. How are you guys doing?
Brilliant. Tell us what's going on down.
Wait, Alex, wait. Don't tell us just yet. Alex, I just want to let you know that we do not miss you here at all. Like, finally, I feel like I have enough space. There is enough. Look at the. This is the first time I've realized how massive this table is. All this while you've been here, you've been squatched in our life. Just keep staying there. But anyways, can go on with your question now, please.
Alex, just give us a feeling of what it's like down at La Liga headquarters ahead of the transfer window closing. We're about 3 hours out in Spain now from it closing.
Yes, well, it's all business end of the window here. I'm at La Liga headquarters. Everyone's here with their laptops, with their phones, waiting to see if there's any fun news in the next couple of hours. Obviously, we have until 11 o'clock tonight. I believe it's 10:59 to be very specific. Now, everyone's here. We've got La Liga TV, we've got Radio Marca, we've got all of the news, some even foreign news coming in to Madrid today to cover all of the news. And, well, it's an exciting time for SportyTV, for me to be here to cover it all. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about. I know Klinton will have some questions about a certain Napoli player, but we'll get on to that later. But yes, it's all happening here at the La Liga headquarters in Madrid.
Brilliant, Alex. Well, we'll be checking in and out with you. But this is what's coming up on today's show.
Today's Sporty Show fully focuses on Transfer Deadline Day, as the window slams shut tonight for all the top European leagues. We'll also preview the weekend's action, as well as reaction to last night's surprise draw for Real Madrid against Las Palmas. And we also take a look at Nigeria's new head coach, as Bruno Labbadia is set to take charge of the Super Eagles' upcoming Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Benin and Rwanda.
All right, guys, there's a lot to talk about, so let's just jump right in. And I think we have to start with the one, the only, Victor Osimhen, because we are hours away from the transfer window closing. And the biggest news is that it looks like Ivan Toney will be heading to Saudi Arabia to join Al Ahly. He has completed his medical test in London, which is now giving Chelsea the full green light to go for Victor Osimhen, since Al Ahly can only take either Ivan Toney or Victor Osimhen. Klinton, we are really getting pushed until the final moments here.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm just very glad that Al Ahly, they've decided to take things further with Ivan Toney. And fact is, if you have Ivan Toney, I don't think there's any reason why you should have Victor Osimhen at the same time. Right now, it's more looking like Victor Osimhen will be coming to Chelsea. And I'm just waiting for that final, here we go, tweet from the usual Romano Fabrizio.
Fabrizio Romano.
No, listen, I think the best thing Osimhen will do right now is to go to Chelsea, where I believe he's going to make a lot of impact. They need him in that team. He has a lot to offer to the current Chelsea. But yeah, no, I just can't wait for that whole thing to happen. I understand that there are issues with the whole salary stuff, and the fact is Victor Osimhen deserved every penny that he's asking for. He's worked hard. He's scored all the goals in Italy. He's broken records. He's literally a king in Italy as we speak. So if he's requesting for any amount, I mean, Saudi Arabia were showing him all kinds of cash, and I don't understand why even Nigerian Chelsea fans, like, listen, all the Nigerians, including the Chelsea fans in Nigeria, they converted how much they were willing to pay Osimhen in Saudi, and they were all saying, Osimhen, you are our brother, we are Chelsea fan, but please go to Saudi Arabia. It came out to billions, and yeah, they're like, yeah, go to Saudi Arabia. Forget about forget about the fact that you want to make a change in Chelsea. Just go make your money. And it seemed like that's what they're diving towards. It's just the money. Now, do I think money is the ultimate at this point? I don't think Victor Osimhen should be looking at the money. Personally, I think he still has a lot to offer in Europe, right? And at his age, being 25, I think he can play very good, solid 4 years in England. And after which, if he continues with the current form that he is, and if he delivers a goal, I see him still being offered the same money, or amount of money, or even more, going to Saudi Arabia. People say, yeah, what if he comes to Chelsea, or he comes to the Premier League and his career drops? What then happens? Well, I don't think. I think if you are a natural player, I don't think you would your career would sink. I think it would literally just continue going from strength to strength. People have made different opinions based on other players, and I've said, well, what about Haaland? I mean, before Haaland came to Manchester City, people would have said that, well, what if his career dies or whatever? No, he's come to Manchester City. He's been lucky. He's had the best midfielders playing with him, and he just keeps on topping the goal charts in England. So I feel like Victor Osimhen, at the same time, if he comes, he's probably going to even do more than because the fact is, Chelsea, they do create chances. They just don't have anybody scoring. That's the problem, and that's why I feel like Osimhen going there is the best thing that would happen to Chelsea this season.
It's definitely one of the biggest transfers of this summer window, and it's kept us on our toes, and it still is keeping us on our toes. And I know someone who has been on the edge today is the one and only Gary, joining us right now. Gary, how busy of a day has it been for you? How exciting? How stressful? Talk to me.
Well, yeah, like everybody else, we've been following the ins and outs of the transfer window across Europe and seeing who is likely to go where and all of that. Ivan Toney was a surprise. I didn't see that coming at all. So if Al Ali are able to get both Toney and Osimhen, that will be something. But for those who are asking, why would they get both and they won't try to get one? The answer is in the lineups of the other teams. If you see the kind of squads Al Nassr have and Neymar's team also have as well, then you know why Al Ali need to, bring out the cash to bring some of these top scorers in there. Because I was looking at the squad of Al Hilal, and it's frightening for this season. Like it's from goalkeeper Bono all the way to Neymar, who should be fine this season, all the way to the attacking options. Look, it's frightening. Al Nassr have who they have. They have Sadio Mane, they have Cristiano Ronaldo and others. Al Ali don't have much in terms of firepower. If they are able to bring Victor Osimhen, and Ivan Toney obviously is a done deal, if they're able to bring Osimhen as well, they'll make a statement. But for Osimhen, I agree with what Klinton is saying to an extent, that if Chelsea works and the deal is, it gives him some good money, 300K a week, that's some decent money. That's some decent money a week. And I do understand the sentiments Klinton is putting across. But if that crazy money, tax-free, or Saudi Arabia, is something he might want to consider for 2 seasons, he's 25. He can easily come back to Europe at 27 and nothing else. So all I've been saying on my Twitter today is that I have no problems, and I'm not going to judge him harshly if he decides to follow the money and go to Saudi Arabia. And really, is the Saudi league that uncompetitive? No. The evidence suggests that it's not that uncompetitive. Look at the Euros. At one point, after the round of 16, the top 5 top scorers had about 3 of them being from the Saudi Pro League. You remember that, right? Okay. And we are seeing those players account for themselves in the best way.
Are you,
Laporta for
Gary? Are you
Spain.
watching? Are you watching the Saudi Pro League?
Well, not as much. No.
I think that's your answer right there, though.
No, but it's an availability issue.
Gary.
Now it's on Sporty. It's on Sporty, so I'm able to watch. But
there you go.
At first, I didn't have any. I had to go through too many hoops. That's why I don't watch the French league. Sarah, do you watch the French league every week?
No, but I also don't watch the Saudi Pro League.
No, but do you watch it or not? Do you watch Serie A every week?
They're in the Champions League.
But then again, how many games can you watch in a, like, let's say on an average?
Honestly,
weekend?
I've tested it before. You don't want to know the number.
Well, I mean,
we can spend too much time watching football.
Because through this, it's quite a lot to watch. I don't even think footballers watch as much football.
Watching the Premier League or La Liga, watching one league alone, watching all the games is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Let alone the top 5 in Europe. Add, domestic Cubs at Champions League, excuse me. If you want the Saudi Pro League or MLS, J League, available here on Sporty. There's so many.
By the way, guys, I found out what J League means today. By the way, just so you don't feel like you're left alone. I had J League. I was like,
what does it mean? What does it mean?
Oh, wait.
What does it mean?
Gary's asking, what does it mean? Right. Wait. Let me.
Isn't it Japanese league?
Guys, this is poor.
You don't know the J League?
It's Japanese league now.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, Ali, you know. I mean,
it's scary.
I couldn't even guess it was. I could have even said the league in Jos in Nigeria. Like, it could have been anything. But no, Gary.
We're unhinged today.
No, because in Nigeria, right, Jos is called J-Town. So when I heard J League, I thought it was J-Town.
Yeah,
does that make sense? So I didn't know it was actually in Japan. But no, Gary, coming back to what you were saying regarding Victor Osimhen and him going to Saudi to go chase the money. Now, right, I understand the sentiments of, there are players who have gone to Saudi League and they've come to the Euros and they've, topped goals. They've even they've performed exceptionally.
They've won the cup.
They've won the cup. Exactly. Kante didn't win it, but he was one of the powering machines that came from the Saudi League and he was pulling the weight in the Euros. But do you not think, Gary, that the moment you go Saudi, because the truth is, let's be sincere with ourselves, every single player that have gone to play in Saudi Arabia, it is almost felt like they left and they just went into the breeze. The only one player whom has gone there, and for some reason, he's still always making his name on the media, it's only Cristiano Ronaldo. And we all know that the reason is only because it's Cristiano. The fact is, there are probably players who have come from Europe who are even performing, maybe not the goals because Ronaldo is a striker, but there are some of them who are probably doing the job of
Mitrovic is one of them. Mitrovic is scoring like a crazy.
But how many people have heard about it? So this is what I think would usually probably drop their market value at the moment you've gone there. And when it's time to come back, truly, you're not going to be priced exactly the same amount of cash that you were worth before you left. Now, Victor Osimhen going to Saudi, listen, let me tell you what's going to happen, right? Because whether we like it or not, we are not going to compare the Saudi league to leagues like the Premier Leagues, the La Liga, the Bundesliga. They will never be the same.
Yeah.
Like, there is no way Al Nassr will come play a team like, say, Real Madrid, and they won't get at least 7-0 out of that. Like, I know it feels, it might sound a lot.
Well, maybe not this Real Madrid. We'll get to that.
Yeah, okay, well let's not talk about this current Madrid just now. But I feel like even the current rubbish Madrid will still beat the hell out of Al Nassr, Al Hilal, or Al Hali, or all the Al's here and there, right? But Gary, honestly, this Victor Osimhen issue, do you really think that if he goes to Saudi Arabia right now, you don't think it's going to have some kind of effect to his career? And coming back to Europe might not necessarily be, the best thing that would happen to him after he would have gone there.
No, I don't think so. So, and this is based on examples that have happened to players that we know. Now, if you speak to some of them who have left, especially in their prime, this is what they tell you. So, N'Golo Kante, for example, Aymeric Laporta, these two examples, Karim Benzema, when they have gone there, they just didn't go there to rely on the league to keep them up to the elite standard. So, for example, this is a personal one I know. The former Ghana captain and top African scorer in the history of the World Cup, Asamoah Gyan, when he went there, he bought his European trainers out of contract in Europe and took them to Saudi Arabia. So his personal trainer. So every week when he stepped on the pitch in UAE, and he went to the UAE, sorry. When he stepped on the pitch in the UAE, he was stepping onto the grass in the Emirati League, but he was European fitness standard every single week. How do we know this was so? Because every time it was time for the international break and he came to the national team, he was in absolutely beast mode every time. In fact, when he went to the UAE, it coincided with his most prolific period in African Cup of Nations, in the World Cup, and in every other international competition. He got that and secured the bag as well. He killed two birds with one stone. Laporta, same. They don't just go there. You get what I'm saying? I mean, Ronaldo was able to play 90 minutes in almost every game at the Euros without breaking a sweat. Every problem Ronaldo had was technical. It was not because of fitness. Any issue that N'Golo Kante had that led to him performing probably under power in that game that France went out of the Euros was a technical issue with the team. The entire team did not pull their weight. It wasn't an N'Golo Kante problem. That's what I'm saying. Okay? And I'm saying that, yes, of course, you are not going to get the same kind of headline and limelight that you will get in the Premier League and probably in La Liga. But that's it. It's not like players in the Bundesliga get those headlines anyway. It's not like players in Holland, the Netherlands get the same headlines, or Belgium get the same headlines anyway. And another bit of evidence. At the Africa Cup of Nations this year, the top players who featured for Cote d'Ivoire in the winning team some of them were from Saudi Arabia. Heck, Frank Kessie, who was at Barcelona and AC Milan, is in Saudi Arabia, was in Saudi Arabia at the Africa Cup of Nations, and he delivered. So what's our problem? It's not like the league there is so, the level is so watered down that Osimhen is not going to. Bro, let me speak to the Nigerian Klinton and not the football lover. Klinton, you know where we are from, my brother. You know where we are from,
Now
my
the
brother.
African is speaking. The African.
My
No, can I just-
brother.
No, wait.
No.
Hold on. Let me. let's go
Look,
down
you
to the
know
bottom.
our situation here.
No. You see. This is what. Okay, sorry, Sarah. Go on.
Guys, we have to.
Let's
We do
secure
have
the bag.
things. We have things to talk about here. There's someone who commented. Drew said the guy currently speaking, Gary, looks like Nicholas Jackson.
Nicholas.
It's full circle. This is a full circle moment. No matter what, Nicholas Jackson will make it onto the Sporty Show. It's something I can promise you.
I don't know. Somehow.
It's either him or it's them.
Somehow Nicholas Jackson just gets into the equation.
No, Nicholas Jackson. Guys, just a friendly reminder that we have the EFL Championship coming up after the Sporty Show with Luton Town taking on QPR. We'll just read out the starting lineups for you of this match, so stay tuned. Right after the Sporty Show, Luton Town versus QPR. For Luton in the back, it's Kaminsky with Burke, McGuinness, Bell. In the middle, Walters, Baptiste, Clark, Doughty. Carlton Morris is captaining with Chong and Adebayo up front. And for QPR, we are looking at Michael Frey in between the sticks, Lloyd, Madsen, and Dembele, Sam Field, Jack Colback, Paul, Salter, Cook, Dune, and at the front, Paul Nerdy. Luton Town, QPR right after this. All right, guys, jumping back to transfers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're still speaking about because I know this is something a lot of people want to hear about. Is the whole right now this whole transfer market. The biggest news that people are still waiting for is where is Victor Osimhen?
But we don't know, so let's talk about someone we do know going somewhere.
Wait, hold on. Who's the person we know? That's very.
Gary and I have someone to discuss.
I feel like
Gary and I
feel
have
like there is
somebody to discuss.
Everyone that's yet to go, or the ones that have gone already, their news is not as important as Victor Osimhen right now. That's
We'll keep jumping back to Osimhen because what would be great is if we could find out when we're all together here. But one thing I wanted to talk to specifically about is David Aduro from Accra Lions joining the Barcelona Academy, the first player to ever sign for Barcelona directly from Ghana. This is for
Wow.
Gary and I. This is the connection. We made it happen.
This is big. This is big. This is big. And when Fabrizio, put it out, I spoke to his agent because if you check my timeline, I tweeted a compilation of the player when he first went to Chelsea for trials, because I'd been speaking to his agent for the past, I think, 6 months or so, and he mentioned to me that the guy was going to Chelsea. My reaction, to be very honest, was that you are joking, Yusuf. I said you are joking because I mean I didn't know how Chelsea had found this guy, but somehow they had found him and they had invited him for trials. They were impressed with him. It was just and they were looking seriously at him. Barca got to know about it. They invited him over a couple of weeks later, I think it was. And evidently, for now, we know they liked what they saw. So Balde in Barca's lateral defense is going to have some competition. But for us here, it's fantastic news. You don't get this kind of news often. For a Ghanaian player to even play at Barcelona is a big deal. That he's coming straight from this city, well, that's
your
mad.
city,
That's
Gary.
absolutely
Amazing.
yeah, man. The ACC. That's crazy. I spoke to the player as well about 3 hours ago, and he's very chilled. Like it's like the calm before the storm. He's very chilled. He's currently in the city. He's in Accra here, and they are just waiting for all the T's and I's to be dotted. Then they fly over to Catalonia and see the beginning of his new life there. He's looking forward to it. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see him come to Madrid sooner than later. Let's try and make that happen. Yeah, brilliant from David Adoro. Let's quickly cut to Alex Ashmore at La Liga headquarters. Some of you who have been asking, sorry, we cannot go to him. He's in the middle of something clearly very important. Klinton Cod, you were saying something.
Literally.
Who is he signing? Who is Alex signing? Who is Alex signing?
I don't know.
Who is he
Probably
signing?
more people to
what
Chelsea
player
at
is he
this
signing?
point.
I think he's going to help us have some conversation regarding this Osimhen issue, because obviously, as a potential Chelsea fan, I'm trying to speak, about my future club to make sure, the player that I'm hoping we get does come to the club, But then again, there's also some rumors that Jadon Sancho is also going to Chelsea.
Yes, they've agreed with one another, but Manchester and Chelsea haven't agreed.
I think the ball now is actually on to Manchester United. It's not even Chelsea. Question is, do you see Jadon Sancho? And this is not just to Sara or even Gary. So our viewers online, please let me know. Do you see Jadon Sancho in Chelsea? Sara, talk to me. What do you think?
I think Jadon Sancho leaving Manchester United is a good thing. I think we know this because similarly to Marcus Rashford, there's some sort of tainted memory they have there. The mentality isn't working for them. But we know both these two players can play really well. Jadon Sancho, for example, went to Dortmund on loan, and all of a sudden it was like
he became a beast.
It was the old Sancho we knew. Yeah. He was reborn again. He had this motivation. The lights turned on. So with Jadon Sancho, I think it's so obvious that he needs to get out of Manchester United. Something's not working. Now, with him going to Chelsea, I think the biggest concern here is where is he going to play? And then who is not going to play in that position if Jadon Sancho is starting? Or is Sancho then not going to be a starter and kind of be 60-minute player? Is that enough for him? Is that going to satisfy him? Because at Dortmund, by the end of it, he was starting matches because he was performing at such a high level. I think my concern is I like the idea of him leaving United, but I feel like he could be used maybe better at a team that doesn't have 600 squad players at the moment. Gary, what do you think?
Well, yeah. That is the issue, isn't it? That he's going to join 699 players. That's the issue. But I have no doubt that he has the capability to stand out. And he has shown in the last 3 seasons or so that in an environment where he's trusted, where his talents are made premium and he's given that love, Jadon Sancho is a world-class player. So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say I know how they are going to use him. But just about 2 weeks ago, we're saying the same pretty much about Joao Felix, and I was saying that he should get into the starting 11. And you and Klinton and Alex pointed out the players that he would have to be, fighting for the position with. Jadon Sancho is going to add to that long list. And I don't know how he's going to do it, but I don't know. To be honest. I
But
don't
then
know.
again, I feel like if you have the likes of Mudryk, who, like I said on this show so many times, Mudryk is just a player who does not have, direction in his play. He's one of the only few players in the Premier League who I believe should be getting a sat nav, or I don't know what the word is in Spain. But the navigator, the one you use when you want to drive somewhere and you have to put
Google
your address
Maps.
and the Google Maps
The
or whatever.
GPS?
The GPS, yeah. I feel like Jadon Sancho
Not
needs.
saying.
He's the only one player that needs a GPS on the pitch, and if they still find a way to always have him playing in Chelsea, I don't see no reason why Jadon Sancho should not. I feel like technically Jadon Sancho is more of a higher level player than Mudryk, and on that left, I see obviously Jadon Sancho performs more from the left. And in that Chelsea team, I don't see anybody apart from Raheem Sterling, who currently has issues with Chelsea, who's not going to be there anymore. I don't see anybody that would bench Sancho if he goes to Chelsea currently. And like I said the other day, I do not really know if it's going to be either a success or a flop. Fact is, you just don't know, right? Until they get into these teams. I mean, look at Mbappe in Real Madrid today, who is not playing from the left that he's used to, who is where technically he's, this is his best position to play. And now he's been to Real Madrid. He almost feels like 3 games in, nothing is happening.
We'll get to Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid in a minute, but this is a great segue because the team that outplayed Real Madrid last night, Las Palmas, is in La Liga right now because Fabio Silva is set to join Las Palmas from Wolves. And let's get it all from Alex Ashmore, who is at the La Liga headquarters. Alex, Fabio Silva, that's the latest I'm hearing. Talk to me.
It is, yes. That is the latest according to Fabrizio Romano. I can't stay with you guys too long as, well, they've told us they're going to do a little announcement. Obviously, it's all hotting up here. You can see on the screens behind me all of the announcements of the signings. Benechea going to Valencia from Aston Villa, Juan Bernat as well joining Villarreal. But it's all going down right now. As the clock, look at my clock now, it's 8:30. We've got a couple of hours left, and I'm sure I'll have a little bit for you, Klinton, on Victor Osimhen in just a little bit.
Woo! Yes!
Can you imagine in the end? Thank you, Alex. We'll join you back soon. Imagine Victor Osimhen now is somehow coming to the league.
Oh, no, that would be the
Just the
funniest
chaos,
stuff ever.
the chaos of it all.
I mean, talking about him coming to the La Liga, which team do you think in Spain would suit Victor Osimhen right now?
I think Barcelona need a striker.
Nah, I mean,
Barcelona.
if you have Lewandowski
If they can
already,
pay
why
him.
would you?
Lewandowski, who's how old? He's not going to live. He's not
Yeah,
going to
but
live
I mean,
forever.
yeah,
Victor
but he's
Osimhen is a
still-
starter, and you can bring Lewandowski on if you want to give him a break.
I still feel like Lewandowski is still playing to that level.
No, to be fair, he is making a statement for himself because he had a poor preseason, a bit of a bad ending to last season, and he's starting the season off really hot. But let's go back to Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid because I'm curious as to what Gary and you, Klinton, you guys would rate the transfer window for Real Madrid this season. Because obviously, I mean, in this window, because they obviously have the biggest signing in Kylian Mbappe. Not the most expensive, but the biggest one. We were waiting for this for a very long time. But Kylian Mbappe still yet to be performing for Madrid. In fact, Klinton and I watched Las Palmas and Real Madrid last night. And friend to show, Mark and Day, we want to hear from you because you're so loyal to us. And we know you're a big Madrid fan. But Madrid were completely outplayed for the second time, maybe even for the third time this season.
Absolutely.
They were very lucky to walk away with 1 point.
Yeah.
But the biggest concern was Mbappe because it wasn't that he didn't score. And I think we're trying to tell you guys, the viewers, this. It's the lack of confidence. And I think it's now starting to trickle out to other players because Vinny, again, really poor. The lack of Cruz in the middle. The only player that I could really say was fantastic again, Federico Valverde, has been the player so far for Real Madrid in every single match this season. Yes, it's only been a few matches. We are jumping ahead here, but Kylian Mbappe is really looking nervous on the pitch right now.
No, you know what I think about Kylian Mbappe right now is the fact, I mean, and you can't even blame him, Sometimes I understand that he's coming to a team that's, arguably the biggest team in the world as we speak. And he's coming to a team where it's not just him that's now going to be the star. He's coming among star boys. Jude Bellingham has not played the last, 2 games now. And you can clearly see how the team, how they are struggling, especially when you have the guy who's meant to be the best player in the world. There's no goals to show for it. But then again, why? It's only because he's playing in a position where he's not extremely comfortable with. Everybody knows that if Mbappe goes on that left, he's a whole different manner of player. He's proven it with France. He's proven it with all the time he's been in PSG. And there's just something magical he does from that left wing. And since they've been trying to play him as, some guy that's roaming as a 10 sometimes, so I don't even know if he's even a striker for Real Madrid. Something is just not clicking. Sometimes he even tries to dribble, and the dribble doesn't even fall in place. Like, you can clearly tell that, like you said, there's this pressure and there's this whole lack of confidence that's going on with Kylian Mbappe currently in Real Madrid. And it's just, it's just sad to see, and I hope that Ancelotti will just give him a game where he will say, okay, you know what, Kylian Mbappe, what wing do you want to start? Where do you want to play? Let's try to shuffle things around. Let's try to let's get the Mbappe that we used to know. Let's get him to play from the left. I don't know what's going to happen with Vinny, because I don't see Vinny playing anywhere that's not left. I feel like I said it so many times on the show, he's bought a whole full plot of land on that left, and listen, nobody's allowed to interfere into his property. But then again, in this current situation, something just has to be done for Kylian Mbappe, because my man is struggling. Gary, I mean...
Can I get Markanday's comment? I'll get Gary to comment on this, because Markanday has said Mbappe is not the problem. The team has no cohesion. The team is truly not balanced. The goals will come for Mbappe, but I doubt if they can actually defend the Liga title. Gary, what do you think?
Well, I think that it's time for Don Carlo to make a really, really, really tough call. I think he has seen enough. We have seen enough as football watchers, analysts, whatever. And I think the fans have seen enough. That if he benches any of the big boys and rotates them, all the stakeholders, especially Real Madrid fans, will understand. Because it's not working. And at the end of the day, fans want results. You don't want a Real Madrid team at this point in the season already dropping 4 points out of the possible total. No, that's not what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Just some breaking news here. Crystal Palace agreed to sign Trevor Chalobah on loan from Chelsea. Interesting moves being made. Chelsea trying to make some changes, make some space for maybe Osimhen.
I think that's even a wrong. You see, Chalobah is meant to be one of the best defenders that Chelsea has. He's better than what's the name of what's it called? Is it Badiashile or whatever they call it?
Yeah.
And there's another one again. I can't, but I see Chalobah. He's a very sorry, but I mean, there are so many players. Like, how many of them can you remember in Chelsea? Jesus Christ, don't blame us, man. But there's just I don't think Chalobah shouldn't be the guy going on loans somewhere else. They could have done, if they are trying to stabilize their team and they're trying to have the necessary best to take them to where they are supposed to be as a team called Chelsea, they should start making some really sensible buys and transfers. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I feel like Chalobah is better than any of the backs that Chelsea has currently, though.
Yeah, we're just going to jump quickly to La Liga and see what's going on. We're not jumping. We came up, we thought something exciting was happening. It will be soon. Continue. Sorry, Klinton.
Yeah, I mean, no, just coming back to Mbappe and Real Madrid, I've just looked at what Markandé said, and this is something I really, I would love to speak about. So he said Rodrigo will be the sacrificial lamb, but he offers so much on the defensive side of the game. It will be a really tough call for Ancelotti. Right now, what did he say? There's this. So right now.
Goulart.
Okay, yeah. Now, you see, Rodrigo on that right position, right? I don't think.
Don't touch him.
Don't touch him, exactly.
No,
honestly.
You have a problem with this side of the pitch.
I
Everything is problematic over here. You have Rodrigo here. You have Federico Valverde here. Leave them alone. Don't touch him.
That part of the pitch has no problem.
Yeah.
Literally, I see Rodrigo on that pitch, and I don't... Listen, if anybody has to drop to come from the bench, and this is me being very sincere looking at that game, it has to be between Kylian Mbappe or Vinicius.
Yeah.
The both of them cannot start at the same time.
We obviously know that like the loss rather of Toni Kroos in the middle. We know that Jude Bellingham is injured, Camavinga is injured, but it's from the middle, which will get solved soon. It's a problem with injury. But then to that right side left side, where they're really, really struggling. And it seems like we spoke about this before, but Vinny and Mbappe are almost canceling each other out. Yeah. And I mean, if this isn't working, yeah, Gary, you're right. Someone is going to have to make a very difficult decision. It will be Carlo Ancelotti. Yeah,
It shouldn't be Rodrigo, honestly.
I mean, maybe it comes down to you have to play Vinny up the middle. You have to switch Mbappe to that left or play that 4-4-2.
Do you see Vinny playing anything that's not left, though?
I don't necessarily think you move Vinny either because of what he's proven he can do at Madrid. But then we always keep saying, but this is Kylian Mbappe, one of the best players in the world. So we're not talking about, an average player, a good player, in fact. We are really talking about maybe the best football player
in the world now, period.
I mean, so if we are saying top 3 in the world, Kylian Mbappe comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Number, right?
So because of the extraneous circumstances, then you say, okay, but
but no, I
have to move him now.
If Real Madrid really want to start making impact, that decision has to be made. They must do something because honestly, Real Madrid is not the Real Madrid I know.
Yeah.
We watched the game yesterday, and they were lucky to go home with 1 point. Do you know what it means to have Kylian Mbappe, have Vinicius, have Valverde, Rodrigo, Brahim, you have Endrick, and you cannot. What was the name of the team they were playing again yesterday?
Las Palmas. What a performance, really quickly, giving credit to Las Palmas because they outplayed Madrid off this pitch. Madrid got lucky in the end because the only goal they scored was a penalty. Of course, yes, it was a penalty, but they couldn't even shoot the ball on target. Honestly,
that penalty, I have issues with that penalty though. I know it's all gone. They've gotten the 1 point, but I thought that was very nah.
I think the issue was more
he was going to the ground. What did they? No, let's be sincere.
But nowadays in football, we know how the rules have changed.
Gary, that game yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, right? You could clearly see a defender going to the ground, and the first instinct, I don't know if by any chance there is any human being that will be going to the ground, knowing they are going to the ground, but they want to comport themselves. He's going to the ground trying to guide himself, and the ball hits the hand, right? Yes. It did hit the hand in the 18-yard box. But you as a ref, would you not think that it was only natural for him to try to guide himself going to the ground, though?
What can I say? But that is 2024. I mean, these decisions are going to be talked about all the time. There are some refs that will give it, some won't give it, and I share in your frustration about the decision that was given. But next week, we are going to be talking about another league or in the same league where the opposite was given. The inconsistency is it's the inconsistency that's annoying to all of us, and it should be sorted out. But you were talking about Crystal Palace and Trevor Chalobah, yeah?
Crystal Palace making another move here. I'm seeing they've, Crystal Palace, sorry, just to cut you off quick. Max, Lacroix from Crystal Palace to Wolfsburg. Continue, Gary.
From Wolfsburg to Crystal Palace, I believe, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Wolfsburg to Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace making many moves in this transfer window.
No, they are buying smartly because they've lost some talent. For Chalobah, they didn't actually need him because Maguire is still there, and he's obviously, on his day, he's definitely a starter. He's a starter for England, so I was surprised that they were able to keep him actually, and I'm thrilled that they were able to keep him. So Chalobah, what he's going to do is that Trevor is a very versatile defender, and he's going to be of use, but I don't think he's going to supplant Maguire as a centre back as well. He's a great option to have in a long stretch of the season like that. And for me, everything Klinton said about him and about Chelsea losing out is pretty valid. And I think that Crystal Palace have gained a very, very good player in there. I would have kept him also because, he's your archetypal Chelsea player. It's the same reason why I would have kept McTominay at Manchester United, because these players have the club DNA.
Yes.
You see,
Yeah.
you
I
don't want
agree.
to lose players that have the club DNA that they can transmit to all these players that are coming. Sort of, they've been there since they were children, So if they have the potential, give them an opportunity to signal to all these academy players that you have a future in this football club. But we see all these ruthless moves being made, and it's just like a McTominay. I would have not sold McTominay if I were, in charge of Manchester United, and for the same reason, I would not have let Trevor Chalobah go. But that's why I'm seated in Accra and they are seated in London making business.
Don't worry, if we had the opportunity, we would have been doing like them, Abi. No, but
Yeah.
I totally understand. When you mentioned Scott McTominay, that was literally my same thinking. I felt like, there are some players you see, you just think that they are born for these clubs, and there's no any other club. You don't see them anywhere else. Like right now, knowing that Scott has gone to Napoli, I can't imagine
Scott, first name basis.
No, I know.
First name basis,
Scott's
like
gone.
my guy, like my guy.
No.
Like he's my guy.
My guy.
My boy. My boy Scott.
No, Scott.
No, Eric
Scott.
Ten Hag did a press conference today, and when asked about Scott McTominay, he was very obviously upset about this decision. You could tell that he would have much rather preferred that he stayed in the club.
Yeah, no, I think I was sad when I heard he was going to Napoli. He's just one of those players that you just know that this club is for you and you are for this club. There is nowhere else. We don't see you anywhere. And like he said, there are so many kids who see these people and they just want to know that they have a future somewhere, and they just want to know that there is an opportunity that's just waiting for them to shine. And not knowing that you get to a point where they feel like they're fed up of you and then they sell you to some other random club in Europe. But let's just hope that it's a very good move for him. I do hope he would perform, and there's going to be a reason to miss the fact that we don't have Scott McTominay anymore in our club. But yeah, it's the same thing I felt for Chalobah as well. Chalobah in Chelsea, they are definitely going to miss him. And Crystal Palace, they should consider themselves lucky to have a player like that who will play with his whole heart and who will do anything to make sure the ball does not go behind the net that he's securing. So, it's I'm still waiting for my Victor Osimhen, man. That's the one. I really
we're waiting. We will keep you posted. Gary, let me ask you though, obviously as an Arsenal fan, how do you feel about Ramsdale leaving the club to go to Southampton in maybe the most bizarre unveiling, and then Neto from Bournemouth coming to Arsenal now as a second string keeper?
Silly.
Easy. That's it.
Straight
I remember
to the
when he
point.
was at Barca, Gary. We had many problems.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, like, the thing I find surprising about this, and Klinton says this all the time, that sometimes you watch the people who are in charge of these clubs and you're like, how are you not seeing what we are seeing? Like, bro, like, what's going on, fam?
Chelsea have been screaming that.
I said what's going on, fam. No, exactly. Gary, Gary, trust me, that's exactly how I see it too. And when fam ends it, it's like very obvious. Like, wait, do you not see that stop blade? Like, what's going on, fam? You mad?
Yeah, blood. So, no, seriously though, unless, and I wouldn't be surprised if later we should hear Sara and Klinton that maybe Ramsdale was unhappy with the situation.
Absolutely.
And was not. It was clear that he was not going to be good for squad morale and team cohesion, and so the club felt that it would be better if he left than to keep an unhappy player on the books who was going to disrupt, the flow of things. Otherwise, if he was happy to be number 2 to David Raya, I do not see why you are letting Ramsdale go. He has his issues. Yeah, sometimes he can be jittery, but he definitely is a player who understands Arsenal, who gets it, Premier League experience by the dozen. And so I'm not really sure. I'm waiting to hear what the backstories are with why Ramsdale is going. But otherwise, if Ramsdale is going, okay, but bringing Neto in, Neto, seriously, Neto, come on.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head, though, Gary. I think there was such an obvious issue with Arsenal last season with the figuring out of which keeper they want to make, their starting keeper. And every time Ramsdale played the season before, he was incredible. He showed, so much passion playing for the Gunners. And then last season, the lack of confidence, you could tell. He would make these really silly mistakes, and it would just take him down, notch by notch. And I think it got to a point where Mikel Arteta had to make a decision, and he made the right decision. But Ramsdale, I don't think, liked sitting on the bench and losing that starting spot. So he'll get that at Southampton. He's still in the Premier League. Listen, not the worst.
And
but
also, Sarah, one key thing, Arsenal have been very keen to let these players go on permanent moves. So once the deal was going to be permanent and 25 million, and it wasn't going to be a loan, was just going to make sure it happened. It's the same thing with Chalobah. Chelsea were holding back for the longest time because they wanted to completely offload him because he's not part of their plans. But, time is going and they had to settle for a loan. So you have that with Edin Ketia as well, where Arsenal were keen to let him go on a permanent move because they want to free up money and make sure that Arteta has a certain number of players only to think about and not have to worry about these guys, who will be looking for game time and all that. So I think that maybe have been a contributory factor to Ramsdale leaving permanently as well. Once the money was on the table, Adrian Arteta said, go for it. It's 25 million. Let's do something with that money.
There you go. Marco Asensio, remember him? Allegedly linked now to Fenerbahce from PSG.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement here. Carlos Forbes has gone to Wolves. From Ajax. I mean, the thing is, I feel like I haven't been able to keep up today, and I'm just thinking about someone like Fabrizio Romano. He must, tomorrow must be a day of where he doesn't look at his phone. Like, he just,
I think after this whole stuff, it probably takes maybe a whole 1 week of not looking at his mobile phone. He doesn't even see what the battery percentage is or anything. He just, leaves. He probably doesn't switch it off. He just leaves it on, so he will come back to see 100 million missed calls. Who knows? But no, at this point, with everything going on, knowing that he's the key announcer of this whole stuff, he probably would need proper break. I mean, look at Gary from Ghana, who does not do as much as Fabrizio when it comes to announcements. But man is even tired of the whole transfer stuff. Now imagine if he has to start announcing every single Ghanaian player or African player going somewhere. God damn, man. I mean. Gary, he's one of those posh, the posh journalists. There's no wrinkle on his face.
Look at his face.
He's just enjoying life in Accra.
Look at his face. Let's quickly, Gary, we're just going to quickly jump to Alex Ashmore at the La Liga headquarters. Alex, can you hear me? Tell me what's going on.
Yes, all well and good here. We've just had a press conference from one of the directors here at La Liga at the headquarters. It's all happening here. Well, a few, obviously, news to tell you that potentially Memphis Depay, who was at Atletico Madrid, could be on his way to Sevilla. And, well, obviously, we've heard about Johnny Cardoso and Giovanni Lo Celso, that swap deal between Real Betis and Tottenham Hotspur. But I know Klinton and all of you will want to know about Victor Osimhen and what the latest is, really.
Please, tell us. Please, Alex, tell us. Please tell us.
So, obviously, we talked about this before we went on air, and Ivan Toney is, he's pretty much done his medicals in London with Al Ahly. Now, Chelsea are also, as a club, situated in London, so don't rule out Chelsea swooping in for Ivan Toney at the last minute. But, as Sara has said, that Al Ahly only want one of those players. Maybe want is probably the wrong word. Can only afford one of those players. So, if Ivan Toney ends up going to Al Ahly, what we could see is Victor Osimhen joining Chelsea on a loan deal until next summer with potentially an obligation to buy. There's obviously all of these terms going around that perhaps you may not be understanding. I know Sara, Klinton, Gary, you're all up to date with everything, but for those watching, a loan with an obligation to buy means the player goes on loan to the club and then the other club has to buy them at the end of that loan. With an option to buy, it means at the end of the loan they can look at it and think, if I want to buy him, I will. If not, I'll send him back to his parent club. So that could be the case for Victor Osimhen, who obviously is on a lot of money, and Chelsea aren't exactly strapped for cash at the moment. They're trying to get rid of Raheem Sterling, potentially going to Arsenal, the winger. Ben Chilwell could be on his way out of the club. We've obviously talked about all the latest news coming in there. Chukwuemeka could be on his way to Manchester United. We've heard rumours today about all of that. So it's a case of Chelsea trying to reduce their wage bill to get Osimhen in, and the most likely way that happens is if he comes on loan until next summer, and then Chelsea sign him when the 2025 summer transfer window comes around.
Brilliant, Alex. Well, thank you so much, and keep smashing it down there at the La Liga headquarters. And we're wrapping up the show here, but feel free to text us with all the buzz going on around.
Please, Alex, listen, I should be the first person you're texting with anything Victor Osimhen. Don't tell me about Ivan Toney or the rest of them. Once it's Victor, just listen. If you text her first, we are going to have problems. The third seat, I'm going to burn it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You're the first person I'm coming to, Klinton. Don't worry.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Gary, go for it. What were you saying?
Well, he was talking about Real Betis. So, Alex, there's a Ghanaian player who has moved to Real Betis. You can check behind you to confirm it. It's been confirmed. Another player who has moved straight from Ghana. He's moved to Real Betis on a 4-year deal from a second division side here in Ghana. He's 18-year-old, and he'll be going to the under-19 side. Now, this player is in the same agency as Thomas Partey as well. So it's Thomas Partey's PRO who has announced it on Twitter right now. His name is Kwame Sosu Jr. He has signed with Real Betis in Spain on a 4-year deal from second division side Desideros. So, well, looks like, and you know, this whole thing about players being signed directly from Africa is going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper, it's less risky, and the sell-on value is going to be crazy in a few years' time. That's the big thing. So they are having all these agents on the ground scouting for 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, things that they have been doing for the longest time in Brazil and Argentina. I mean, we know players that they brought in. Exactly. They are now establishing that conveyor belt from Africa, and we should be seeing a lot of it. Now, there's a club in Algeria called Paradu. Paradu have been doing this for like the last 10 years. They've set up a brilliant academy system that transfers players straight from Algeria to Europe. Obviously, you know about the Senegal example, where the club owned partly by Patrick Vieira and Diambas have been sending players directly from Senegal to Europe as well. So they are now doing that. There's one that has been done with Marseille in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt. Be looking out for that as well. They'll be getting a lot of players from Port Harcourt also in the next few years, and it's going to be a thing as well.
No,
that's something exciting to look forward to, though. I just.
Klinton, I'm so sorry, but we have to go. That's it for us today, guys. Gary, I am very happy with this news, though, and that's brilliant to hear, especially with us covering all these players, broadcasting out to Africa. It's very exciting right now for African footballers and African football. But, guys, that is it for us today. Unfortunately, we will not find out where Victor Osimhen will play until we come back tomorrow morning. We are back with you guys. Until then, enjoy the rest of the transfer window and enjoy Luton Town and QPR, which is coming up right after the show. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
Ebwe. Po, po.